All right. Okay, so we're going to start with 4.3. And yes, we're also going to do 1.8 and 4.6, which is PEMDAS. But first, we're going to do 4.3, which is multiplying and dividing of fractions. So the good thing with multiplying and dividing fractions, you do not have to find the LCD. You can pretty much, when you're multiplying, you just multiply straight across. I would recommend doing any like reducing that you can before you multiply. But on number 1, there's nothing to reduce, so just multiply straight across. So 2 times 5 is 10, and 3 times 7 is 21. So 10 over 21 is the answer. On number 2, I can reduce the 3 and the 9. So 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 9 3 times. And then multiply across. So 1 times 8 is 8, and 13 times 3 is 39. And then whenever you're dividing, you're just going to flip the second fraction and multiply. So this will be 8 over 11 times 7 over 5. And then there's nothing to reduce, so just multiply straight across. So 8 times 7 is 56. And 11 times 5 is 55. So 56 over 55 is the answer. Any questions? Well, when you're dividing, you have to do that. Yeah. Dividing is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal, basically. Okay. All right, number 4. Okay, so 12 over 27, and then that would be multiplied by 9 over 4. All right, and we can definitely reduce a lot of stuff there. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 4 goes into 4 one time. And 9 goes into 9 one time, and 9 goes into 27 3 times. So then you multiply across, you just end up with 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 times 1 is 3. So that's just 3 over 3. And 3 over 3 is just 1. Okay. So 6 is the same thing as 6 over 1. And we're multiplying. And 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into 6 3 times. So 3 times 3 is 9, and 1 times 1 is 1, and 9 over 1 is 9. Okay, oops. Oops. Okay. Number 6, 1/4 divided by 3. So 3 is the same thing as 3 over 1. And we're dividing, so we have to flip the second fraction and multiply. So that's going to become 1/4 times 1/3. So nothing to reduce. 1 times 1 is 1, and 4 times 3 is 12. So the answer is 1/12. Number 7 says find 5/12 of 48. So of always means multiply. So we want to do 5/12 times 48. And 48 is the same thing as 48 over 1. And then let's see what we can reduce. So 12 goes into 48 4 times. 12 goes into 12 1 time. And 5 times 4 is 20. And 1 times 1 is 1. And 20 over 1 is 20. All right, number 8. I can cancel out the x's. And I can reduce 5 goes into 10 2 times, and 5 goes into 5 1 time. And so you could say that x goes into x 1 time, so you could just say there's a 1 there. So then 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times y is y, so 2 over y is the answer. Are you Aaron? Is that Aaron Vasquez? Okay. All right. Number 9. All right, so we're going to flip the second fraction and multiply. And the parentheses really aren't necessary. We have m squared times p over k, and then it's going to be multiplied by 3k squared over m. So m squared is the same thing as m times m. So let's say that's mmp over k. And k squared is the same thing as k times k, so that would be 3 times k over m. And then let's see what we could reduce. So we can cancel out one of the m's, and we can cancel out one of the k's. So, and everything on the bottom is gone. I mean, we could put a 1 there, or not, just put nothing there. So let's see what we got. So on the top, we have 3. We always like to put that number in the front. That's our numerical coefficient. And then the order of the letters doesn't really matter. I guess alphabetical order is conventional. That would be K, M, P. And then, like I said, it's over 1, which is just nothing. You can just leave that. All right, number 10 says, how many 1/3 cup servings of almonds are in a 5-cup bag? So we want to divide those 5 cups into servings of 1/3 cup. So we want to divide 5 divided by 1/3. And we know that 5 is the same thing as 5 over 1. So that's going to be 5 over 1 times 3 over 1 equals 15 over 1, which is just 15. All right. Next, we're going to talk about the order of operations, also known as PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All right. So, parentheses can stand for any type of grouping. So it could be parentheses or any kind of brackets, absolute value bars. It could even be a fraction is a type of grouping because the numerator is one group and the denominator is a separate group. All right, so any operations that are on the inside of a group, like on the inside of parentheses, you would need to do those first. But a lot of times parentheses are used for other purposes, like there's nothing on the inside of the parentheses to do. So like here, the only thing inside the parentheses is a 3. So there's nothing that's not what they mean by parentheses. There's nothing inside the parentheses to do. All right, so those parentheses there are just showing that it's, multiplying 4 times 3. And then after parentheses is exponents. And then after that, you have multiplication and division, which is multiplication and division is one thing. So that means, so you don't necessarily multiply before you divide. You can divide before you multiply. You just need to do those in order from left to right, just as long as you do those before doing addition and subtraction, which again, that's like one thing. You just do those in order from left to right. So for number 1, the first thing I'm going to do is multiply 4 times 3, which is 12. And then I'm going to bring the rest of this down. So -8 plus 12. And remember, if your bank account is overdrawn by $8 and then you deposit $12, your balance will then be a positive $4. All right. All right, number 2, so I'm going to work on the numerator, simplifying the numerator first, which means I just need to do 20 minus 15. So 20 minus 15 equals 5. So I've got 5 over -1. So in other words, that's 5 divided by -1, which equals -5. Okay. All right, on number 3, again, there's nothing on the inside of any parentheses that I need to do. So I just need to look at my multiplications. All right, so I'm going to multiply 7 times 6, and that gives me 42. And I'm going to just bring the rest of it straight down. So 42 minus 6 times 5 plus negative 10. And then next I will multiply 6 times 5, which equals 30. And then bring everything else down. So I have 42 minus 30 plus negative 10. And then just need to finish up my adding and subtracting across. So 42 minus 30 is 12. So I have 12 plus negative 10. 12 plus negative 10, I could just call that 12 minus 10, same thing. And 12 minus 10 equals 2. All right. Number 4. All right, so in this case, I do have something on the inside of the parentheses that I need to actually do, which is 5 minus 2. 5 minus 2 equals 3. And then I'm just going to bring everything else down. So I have 8 squared minus parentheses 3 to the 4th power. And then next thing I need to do is exponents. So 8 squared is 8 times 8, which is 64, minus, I can go ahead and do that exponent also. So 3 to the 4th power. Okay, so let's just go ahead and write down 3 times 3 times 3, 3. So 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 3 is 9, and then 9 times 9 is 81. Okay, so that's 81. So I have 64 minus 81. So if your account had $64 in it and you spent $81, you would then be overdrawn. So to figure out the number, I'm just going to subtract 81 minus 64. So that would be 17, negative 17. All right. Any questions? All right. Number 5. So there's nothing on the inside of those parentheses that I need to actually do. It's just the number negative 2 is in there. So I do need to do the exponent, which is negative 2 to the power of 3. So what I'll do is I'm just going to keep that negative right there. That's just going to stay in the front. And then it's going to be negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. All right. So a negative times a negative means those two negatives will cancel each other out. So that would be 4 times negative 2 would be negative 8. So that that would be -8, but you still have the negative in the front. So it's kind of like saying there's an invisible 1 right here, like -1 times -8, you could say. And that makes it end up being +8. Okay, number 6, I do have something on the inside of the parentheses that I need to do, which is -20 minus 5. So if your account is overdrawn by $20 and then you spend another $5, now it's overdrawn by $25. So that now becomes -25. And then I'm just going to bring the rest of it down. So -25 divided by 5 minus 15. So then I'm going to divide -25 divided by 5 equals -5. So -5 minus 15 is equal to -20. Okay. Number 7. So 4 minus 12 equals -8. And 8 minus 17 equals -9. And then -8 times -9 equals +72. All right, number 8. On the inside of the parentheses, I do have some things that need to be done. So looking on the inside of the parentheses, I have exponent on the inside of the parentheses. So I would do 3 squared, which is 9. And then I bring everything else down. So I have 11 minus 9 in parentheses raised to the power of 3. All right, so then I need to finish doing what's on the inside of the parentheses, which is 11 minus 9. And 11 minus 9 is just 2. It's 2. And then I just need to do 2 to the 3rd power. So 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 8. All right. Number 9. Let's see. So nothing on the inside of the parentheses to do, no exponents. I do need to multiply 6 times 1/2. So 6 is the same thing as 6 over 1. And 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 2 1 time. So that's just going to be 3, basically. So it's just 10 minus 3, which equals 7. Okay, number 10. So first I need to simplify the numerator. So to add those, you can find the LCD if you want. I'm just going to use the bow tie method, which would give me 3 plus 2 over 6, which equals 5 over 6. So 5/6 over 5/6. So that's a number divided by itself. So that just equals 1. So in this case, we do have something we need to do on the inside of the parentheses, which is the 5 minus 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. And I'm just going to bring the rest of this down. All right, and then I'm going to do the exponents. So -1/3 squared. So a negative times a negative is a positive, and then 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 times 3 is 9. So -1/3 squared equals 1/9. And then 1 raised to any exponent is still 1. And no, because 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Yeah, so 1 to any exponent is 1. And then, so since I need to add that with another fraction, I'll go ahead and write it as 1 over 1. So 1 over 9 plus 1 over 1. So again, I'm just going to use the bow tie method. And so that would be 1 plus 1 times 9 is 9. 9 times 1 is 9. And 1 plus 9 is 10. So that comes out to be 10 over 9. Number 12, first we need to multiply. So 1 times 5 is 5, and 4 times 7 is 28. So I have -2/3 plus 5 over 28. And then I'm just going to bow tie it. -2 times 28 equals -56. And then 3 times 5 is 15, so plus 15 over, and then 3 times 28 is 84. And then -56 plus 15, so I know that's going to be negative because if my account is overdrawn by $56, and I deposit 15, it's still going to be overdrawn. To figure that out, then I'm just going to subtract 56 minus 15, which would be 41. So negative 41 over 84. All right. Any questions? All right. Okay, so